Shaq with Angel Reese when he's like, I want to see her playing in her underwear and like run up and down. If I said that, I'd be in jail.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In jail.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharp. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay. Stopping by for conversation on a drink today is one of the most influential people in modern sports. He created a company that's now worth more than $500 million, a pioneering force in the new age of digital media, a business mogul and a trailblazer, a media magnet and an icon, a social media star and an influencer, a bold, no-filter media star, outspoken personality. A powerhouse spokesman, host, producer, writer, director, philanthropist, a pizza aficionado, a University of Michigan alum, a wealthy entrepreneur who built a multi-platform empire, founder and operator, owner, sports and pop culture company, Barstool Sports, El Presidente, Dave Portnoy.
Quite the intro. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that intro. I like that.
Bro, we got to toast, bro. I got to toast you, man. For you to be able to do what you've done, I mean, for you to have the vision and to see it through. Congrats. Cheers to you.
Cheers. I said I wasn't going to drink this, by the way. I don't like Henny, but I'm doing it.
No, that's better. But I'll let you tell me for yourself.
I probably won't have it for a little time after this, let's say that. I'm more on like the high noon speed, but when in Rome.
Do as the Romans.
Yeah.
Bro, thank you. You built Barstool into a $500 million empire. Started off doing 4-page newspapers, which is the dying dynasty. How did you have the vision and the forethought to do what you did?
So I didn't have the vision. That's the easy answer.
Okay.
I just didn't want to hate my job when I woke up.
Okay.
I knew I wanted to try my own thing. Mm-hmm. But at Barstool, if I was making $60,000 a year working for myself, I would have been happy. But anyone who said they had vision back then is probably lying.
Right.
Because, we started as a newspaper before MySpace existed, Facebook, TikTok. So for anybody to know what the internet was going to be, they're lying. We were just always really quick
right.
and kind of moving and following trends, but I had no idea it would turn into this.
You handed out newspapers on the subway platform, street corners of Boston, yelling at people. How many papers did you think you handed out a day?
Probably 5,000 to 10,000. We had a circulation of 30,000, probably at the height. So I'd wake up, you see it, any city corner, and just hawking papers outside the Garden. I grew up in Boston, South Station, subways, just working.
Because a lot of times people they take it and throw it on the ground.
Oh, that happened. I count that. If you took it, that counts. Yeah. You didn't ask how many ended up in people reading it. But if you're going on the subway, right, and you're just looking for anything to read,
right.
So you get as many hands on it as you can.
Todd McShay started out as one of your earlier writers, and you custom built websites, and the newspaper went digital. How did you know, like Todd, how did you decide who you were going to pick to write and who are you going to start staffing?
So I went to high school with McShay.
So, okay. That was
a hard-ass choice. Yeah, I was in his wedding. So we weren't paying anybody when we started.
Okay.
He got involved in sports before I did. Okay. So he was already maybe just starting on ESPN a little bit. Okay. So he just helped on the side.
Right. Wow. So is it true that you started putting women on the bikinis on the cover, and that's when the newspaper kind of took off?
That is true. So there was a photographer in Boston. He's like, have you ever thought about putting a girl? Maxim was huge at the time.
Yes.
So
they used to have big parties at the Super Bowl. I don't know if they still do that now.
They still do it. I think it's
but not
down,
to the level. Okay.
Yeah. Back in the day, Maxim was like the it party.
It was.
Yeah. So he reached out to me, the photographer. He's like, have you ever thought of putting local women? Maxim, they're at sleds.
Yes.
So we started putting, I'm like, no, I haven't. But if you want to do the photography for me, do it. Knock yourself out. And he came over, did it. And it was a local girl. Mm-hmm. Well, that started getting people's attention. I'm like, let's do it again. And that kind of, you know what it really did for us back in the day? Like Bud Light, Miller Lite. They paid no attention. When I started Barstool, I'm like, oh, we'll get all sports advertising. We didn't. When they saw pretty girls, they're like, if you know where the girls are, the guys will follow. So it actually opened doors advertising-wise.
Wow. I read that you had models handing out the newspapers started having models hand out the newspaper. Before that, you had homeless people actually handing out the newspaper.
Yeah, so the first week we launched Homeless People.
Okay.
Labor Ready was the name of the company, and I was driving around and they were just drunk, not paying attention. They didn't do dick. They didn't do anything. So we fired them after 1 week. And then I'm like, you know what, if you're a guy walking off the subway, would you take it from a pretty girl or a homeless person?
Right.
Pretty girl. So we lasted that for maybe a month. So put girls in little jerseys and handed them out.
During that process, what did that teach you about advertising?
Well, that wasn't rocket science. It didn't teach me anything. But I knew guys like pretty girls. Like,
Yes.
you're going to take a newspaper.
Right.
So it didn't teach me really anything about that. It was just really expensive to do it. But, that was no lesson.
But let me ask you this. Have you listened to your fan base over time? Because you said the guys follow the pretty girls. Wherever guys are, that means advertisers are going to come because
Totally.
those are the guys that drink the beer, eat the, take the products or bet or do whatever.
Yeah, I have listened to. It's a fine line because I'm sure there's the people who hate you and don't like you are often the loudest.
Yes.
Like, you suck at this, you're not good at that. So I don't let that bother me. But the beauty of what we did in a newspaper and more internet is the internet doesn't lie. You see the numbers, they're going up. So I'll always follow that. As much as people like the chirping and noise, somewhat, I trust my gut a lot.
Right. How did you know not being politically correct, you could win doing that? Now, over the last decade, but Barstool is way older than a decade. How did you know that not doing always the right thing could be a win for Dave?
Yeah, so that's how I am. Like, I'm this maybe in Northeast like Boston. Like, I'll say do whatever, and
Right.
I'm fine. I'll stand on 2 feet and stand with it.
Right.
It really wasn't intentional. Like, it's just me being me and us being us. But we did get to a point where we built this loyal following, and it's like I knew I had them. And if we were honest with the audience, they'd follow us anywhere. Right. So that was always an advantage.
And that means there's a lot of people out there that doesn't want to be politically correct, that have to be politically correct, but they had someone that, you know what, he's not politically correct. I like him. I like what he's doing. I like what he's saying.
So we always had the advantage. I didn't have a boss. Like,
Oh, okay.
So, if you're in a corporate world, it's great to think one way, want to be, but if your boss is like, you know what, you're going to get fired, you can't do it. That's a lot of different pressure.
Correct.
We didn't have it. And we didn't belong, we weren't beholden to advertising. That was also huge.
Yeah.
So advertisers can be like, hey, you got to watch what you say. We had early Barstool. Our money was coming from our audience, selling T-shirts, doing events. So we didn't care. If an advertiser's like, we're going to drop, it's like, all right, see ya. We're going to just keep doing us.
There were not a whole lot of models out there that you could follow. So who did you look up to that says, you know what, I kind of like their business model. I kind of like the way they do things.
The early guy who I looked up to is Bill Simmons.
Okay.
So I'm a Boston guy.
Yes.
This is before he went to ESPN. His
Okay.
writing style was more like, this is interesting. I reached out to him, tried to get him invested in Barstool to be part of it. Obviously never happened. But it wasn't so much a business model. Like, I came from a business side. So I was always like, if I can sell ads, do this, I just want to enjoy my life. But I wasn't looking around and be like, that's the model. I think we became the model, not on purpose, but there wasn't much like us.
Well, I kind of think you were going to say Howard Stern because he would kind of say do anything.
Yeah, and we do get compared to that. I was never a big Stern fan growing up. So, but we get that comparison and got it throughout the years all the time.
I heard that you're kind of like a combination between ESPN and Playboy. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it's an interesting assessment. I mean, we have the TNA. I mean, ESPN, I think ESPN's moved more probably to our side of the street in terms of like letting people fly. And even like I saw, and when you and no, it was Stephen A. No, it was you and Herbie going at it. Like, that's Barstool.
Right.
Like, we'll let them fight it out.
Right.
And I couldn't even tell them, like, do these guys really not like each other? Is this like a show? That's Barstool.
Even teammates?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like Barstool, I'm feeling like, and we're going to get into this later, like when you had Bussin' with the Boys, you had Part of My Take, and you had this one and that one, and you all under one umbrella. I see us as teammates. You would let them take shots at each other?
Oh my God, we eat each other alive. The most vicious shots are internal.
Okay.
And I just got here, I just watched a Taylor Lewan clip at the Super Bowl, and he's talking to Patrick Mahomes. He's like, hey, we're leaving Barstool. They are leaving. Yeah. And he's like, so you'll come on our podcast right now. I mean, to me, that to me is like, he basically put Patrick Mahomes in his mouth. Like he basically was like, let me roll over, pet your belly, and we go at each other. But it's real. People think it's fake. In the end,
Right.
we're all one team, but yeah, we attack each other.
Is it true that early advertisers, basically they were offshore illegal betting sites that weren't illegal in America, so you like reached out and got those dollars?
So I've always loved gambling.
Okay.
So before I started Barstool, I actually flew to Vegas, interviewed in casinos, like, how do I get in this industry? And I used to bet. So I talked to these offshore casinos, said, how do I get involved? They said, create the newspaper, we'll advertise in it. And that was the early advertising we had that got us, like when we launched, no girls, no nothing. It was just really fantasy sports, that type of thing. We pre-sold the ads
Right.
for a year, 2 years, party poker, and we morphed after that. But yeah, that was our early advertising.
Did you ever get frustrated? Did you ever think that this possibly couldn't work?
I got a job about 6 years in. I took a sales job, worked there. At lunch, I'm like, I can't do Barstool and give it a chance and do this. So one day, lunch, drove home, never went back. But I mean, we didn't make money for a decade.
Right. Really?
Yeah.
So how did you get by?
Grinding. Like I moved in with my in-laws.
Okay.
We had no rent. It was paycheck to paycheck trying to survive. But it was literally like nothing.
At the time, did your wife like, Dave?
She made me get the job. She made me get the job. To her credit, she stood by me. And it always felt in my gut, this thing's like there's something here.
Yeah.
But to turn the corner and actually do it took a long time.
Did you create fake ads to get rival companies?
I was early. Like Morton Steakhouse, I put in a rival. Like Fleming's, Morton's.
Ruth Chris.
Yeah, and the actual place would call me like it was Fleming's. There's a steakhouse in Boston. They'd be like, we didn't advertise in your paper. Why are you in there? It's like, oh, my sales guy quit. I don't know what happened. And then we take it out. But the thought was, hey, if Morton sees Fleming's, then Morton's want to get in there.
Right.
So yeah, we did that all. I would do anything. I would do anything to try to get somebody in the paper.
But you also created fake emails with extra people like, hey, we got a big ass staff.
Correct. So do you want someone to advertise? I know that I'm the head writer, I'm the founder, I'm the sales guy, I'm the marketing guy. So I had like 10 different aliases. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. But it seemed like you had a plan. Like even though it wasn't successful early, you had a plan and you had a fortitude, a stick-to-itiveness that you know what? It's going to click. I just got to give it time.
Yeah, I keep going back and some people say I'm being a humble. I thought it was working. Did I ever dream it would be something like this?
Right.
I think I'm a smart enough guy and a way to monetize. And if you really hustle and work your ass off, you can probably carve out some sort of living for yourself.
Yes.
Did I know that the internet would hit right when I needed to hit?
Right.
Did I know that like social media would hit and things like right time, right place, right guy, all those things?
How much would you say it cost you to start Barstool?
Oh, I'm always not much, maybe 30 grand max. That's for I had to buy the racks. That was the only expense. We had the racks to put the newspapers in.
Let me ask you a question. How did you come up with the name Barstool?
So Barstool Sports was supposed to mean, and this is early internet 1.0. I looked for websites that were allowed. It's supposed to mean anything that a guy would talk about sitting at a bar watching sports.
Okay.
That was what it's supposed to mean. So I went through like 10 names, and that was the one that was available.
Did anyone invest in Barstool besides yourself early on? Maybe your parents, maybe siblings, or anybody like
Parents helped with the news racks, and that was it. And we had no outside money till 2016. We started 2004.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a very long time not to make a whole lot of money. A lot of people probably after 12 years going to give it up. Dave.
Yeah, I mean, we started around by 2016. We were doing pretty well, but I had a normal job. Again, I would rather work for myself and not make as much and then hate waking up and hate what I do.
So you didn't really turn a profit. You started in 2004, so you kind of turned a profit in
2010, maybe 11, around there.
So you started making good money. It's not no retirement money.
No, good enough money. We did a concert tour in 2010.
Okay.
We had a kid who was Sam Adams was his name. He was like a kind of local rapper, basically guy, and we had never been outside Metro Boston. We did a 10 tour of colleges like URI, UMass, and we're going to frat basements. I basically wanted to see, do people know who we are?
Yes.
UMass, the Mullins Center, they called me and they're like, hey, what is this concert you're doing? Keep in mind, I'm going to a frat basement to do it. And they're like, we're getting calls for this concert you're doing. It's like, yeah, I don't know, we're going to frat. They're like, would you ever think of doing it in the arena? It's like, I can't afford that. We won't do it. It's like, well, what if we set it up a way of very little risk? So if you're willing to do it, fine. We sold out in 5 minutes, like sold the arena out. That was when it kind of clicked. It's like, there may be something going on here that I'm not totally aware. Showed up these campuses, signs on the roof. It was crazy.
So let me ask you a question. When did you know Barstool could become a legit company? That you're like, I got something.
Probably that tour around the 2010, 2011. And then I'm probably making 7 figures by 2012, 2013. Okay. It was hard to, like, if you wanted to advertise with us, you almost had to know somebody. Like, we weren't selling. You had to find, like, I remember we were in this fantasy space and the gambling, like I've had DraftKings. I met with like the founders of DraftKings way back when, FanDuel, and you had to know somebody to get me on the phone because we were just happy. We're like, all right, we're doing well. We're happy with where we're at. But around then I knew we were here to stay.
How did you develop this loyal, rabid fan base?
It's day after day. So when we started the company, I used to blog 10 to 15 times a day. Like every 45 minutes, something new up. We're on top of sports, on top of everything. And you just build a trust with your audience. If they're seeing you every day, they start just becoming almost like your friend. Like when I see our fans, they think they know me. Right. So you just build that up over decades, you get a very loyal core audience.
So basically you would say that college is where you kind of like grew. It's like when you did this little college tour and you went to UMass and you had that arena and you sold it out. So you would say probably college, would you say college kids, early 20s?
Yeah, maybe? It was everything. So I started this thing when I was like 25, 26. Okay. I'm 47 now. So it spans all ages and different people's their lives. Like we have people who have kids, we have new college kids. It just depends where you get us. I think
they were college kids, but they're husbands and fathers now.
Yeah, it's everything. And even like when I started, it was young professionals. Right. So it was a lot of people who just graduated and now went to the workforce and like that.
Why do you think college kids, why does Barstool resonate so much with college kids?
I don't really know. I mean, we were talking about college age. We were doing like raves at college parties. Right. And I mean, even now we have like handles on social media that just cover that college, but obviously they like unfiltered and we're unfiltered.
Right. Frat parties, you had concerts. Were you in a frat?
For about 10 seconds at Michigan. So I wasn't big into the hazing part of it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I like the Russian part of it when they're kissing your ass. And when it turns into like, go get me a beer, that's not really me. So I was gone quick.
How did you know, but you didn't want to be a part of that, but how did you know the fraternity culture so well?
I didn't. I mean, the fraternity, and sometimes people say different. I don't know if it's fraternity culture as like human nature. Like guys like hot girls. Yeah. Guys are going out to try to get laid. Like a lot of that is part of what we were doing, talk about in parties, but it was everything. I mean, we would talk just as much about that as anything else.
It seems like I don't know if you still feel this way, that you were the antithesis of what ESPN. How did you know to like create something, say, you know what, whatever they do, we're going to do the exact opposite?
It wasn't on purpose like that, you know. I guess people may look at, I mean, ESPN, and we've been doing it for so long. ESPN's actually changed a bunch of times probably since we've been doing this last 20 years. It wasn't, they're just more buttoned up. And in early Barstool, anybody who came from a network to us, we had some issues with because they needed a producer to tell them to say this and that, and we don't do that. Right. We hire people we think talented and let them run wild.
You off the cuff, bro.
Yeah, it's like we're not going to tell you what to say, and you got to love what you're talking about. So we weren't trying to be the different, and I had no problems with ESPN until we had problems with ESPN.
Because you look at ESPN, they got fancy studios. Guys are normally buttoned up. They're normally, suit, tie. You guys are very informal, very casual, T-shirts, blue jeans, shorts. Hey, I'm more interested in what you say, not what you wear. That was always
So I heard a story that ESPN once had a meeting about us when we were on the come up. And it's like, how do we be more authentic like Barstool? It's like, well, you lost. Like you are having a meeting on how to be authentic. Right. There was nothing, I'm not planning what my studio looks like. That's what my life looked like. So it's just, we didn't think about that. Right. We didn't care about fancy cameras. We didn't have fancy cameras. We had idiots. And it almost, the bigger we got, the more I had to keep an eye, like we don't want to look polished like ESPN. Like that's not who we are. Just because you can do it doesn't mean we want to do it. But it wasn't an early thought.
Is Pardon My Take a playoff? Pardon the interruption.
Yeah.
First Take. So you got Pardon and Take, and so boom, boom.
ESPN's so stupid, they sued us the first day. They sued. They went through, sent the cease and desist. The best thing they could have done for us. It was 100% a mash of that. Like, that's what we're doing. And then we posted,
Oh, you posted it?
Oh, of course.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Just send the letter. Idiots. Like,
because you're going to post it, and then all of a sudden everybody's going to well, let's see what's going on. Why
they couldn't. Again, we've had that multiple. Goodell's been one, but that was perfect. Yeah. And in a weird way, it was like tipping our hat to them. It's like an homage to that.
Right.
But yeah, they sent that letter right away.
Do you think sports media is taking itself too seriously?
I do. I think it's changed. Like, again, I think a lot of things, it's much more free flowing. But yeah, generally, sports media people, I think there's a double standard.
Okay.
Let's say Deflategate, right? One of my cornerstone.
That's in your craw.
Yeah, that's one of my like cornerstone events, and they're killing Brady. And I remember Sal Pal. He's on CNN or what? I mean, ESPN acting like this is like world news, being like, Tom Brady is an Ugg salesman. Women buy Uggs. They're not going to buy Uggs if they don't trust them. It was so dumb. So I went to media day and I see Sal Pal and I take my mic. I'm like, Sal Pal, what'd you say about Tom Brady and Uggs? No. I don't talk to the media. I don't talk to the media. It's like, you are the media. Like, that double standard drives me crazy. Like, you're going to talk about people. Media are celebrities now, no different than the athletes.
How have you been able to surpass Sky Sports, Fox Sports, and social media following?
Because we're born from the internet. Like, we're probably the first digital media company. Like, who are the heads of Fox? How old are they? What do they look like? We're all young guys. Who we hire, they come with a true proven internet record.
Right.
Like, you don't get to us unless you're young. Like, I've been looking at crypto. I don't understand it because I'm too old and it's like hard. If you have a crypto guy who's probably older than 25, like, he's probably not a great crypto guy, right?
Right.
So if you look at the internet, these are network guys who have come up doing it the same way, same playbook, same everything. We had no playbook. We were figuring out as we went.
Do you believe that's the mistake that linear is making? Is because those guys came up in linear, they don't understand digital, they don't understand social, kind of like these, say, 23 to 30-year-olds?
100%. Like, eventually things will change, but like, if you look at a NFL game, why does everything look identical on the sets? Eventually but it's the same way they've been doing it. 100%. They're just, this is how you do it. This is the way to do it. We're not going to change. We know more. So 100%.
What do you think the future of sports media is? Is it more what you do?
100%. I mean, look at you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would think that you could say some of the things that you say, whether it be not on the main network and then go on ESPN, that's a relatively recent development in my mind, that you can have that, and they're letting them. And even like Stephen A. with his own, that didn't happen not too long ago, where like you just wouldn't see it.
Right. Was your goal always to create a media company?
No. It was to have a job that I liked waking. Then we got to a degree of success. It's like, what do we want to do here? Is Boston replicable? Can I hire other guys and create the success in Boston? And then it became a media place where it's like, let's try to create other personalities, which I think, for my money, obviously I'm biased, my company, I think we've, in this new last 20 years, created probably the greatest stable or biggest, like if you brought back everybody, whether it's McAfee, Alex Cooper, you Bussin' with the Boys obviously are leaving. You have Wallow and Gilly, me, Dan. Like, we have A-list people who've come from the internet. Jenna Marbles, who do you know who that is?
I don't.
Jenna Marbles was like internet 1.0. Like, she was the first YouTube girl. So we've launched massive stars. And at some points, like, I think we have the platform that we can do this. And no one else was trying to do it. Like, McAfee's an example. Like, no one hired his ass out of the Colts. No one wanted him.
What have you learned about building a media company? I mean, could if somebody say, you know what, Dave, we need you to, at University of Michigan call, say, Dave, we want you to teach a class on how to go about building a media company, how to build a conglomerate.
I got no clue on what I would say that. Honestly, I think what we've been good at and what I've had an eye for, and they're not all home runs. It's like a band, almost like a record label model. Like, you're going to miss, but if you can get some hits, we have a good eye for talent.
Yes.
Whatever that may, like, unique people. Like if I see something, I'm like, do I click off of it in a second, or do they have me for 10 to 20?
Right.
And if they do, that generally means there's something there. Like
Right.
you're just interested in what's going on.
Right. How many employees, shows, personalities do you say you think you employ at Barstool?
I think about 400 right now. Total.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you could grow a company to have 400 employees?
No, I don't even know. It's just we got bloated a little bit, but we have a lot of stuff going on.
Well, how do you manage? Because you said you are who you are. How do you manage so many different personalities?
We have different people who help, but that's the word. The talent business sucks. I won't recommend that for anybody. That's one of those things when you ask me what I thought. But I mean, we're in the business of building stars and then having them turn around and be like, hey, we want $1 quadrillion and you can't afford them. It's like a sports team,
Right.
SNL model or something like that. Like your agent there, Michael Klein, I think he owes me his whole life. If we're being honest, like without me, he doesn't exist. So
You might need to invest in his business.
yeah. It's like I'd like to know how he runs that business, but it's you let people be themselves.
Okay.
We try to see if they rise above, like if they start getting traction, we just give them whatever they want, resources. You want to fly to, I remember we had these two guys. They were there for a week, and they wanted Porzingis. Like we want to go find his family, and where the f is he from?
Lithuania.
Yeah, they flew to Lithuania.
Latvia, somewhere like that. Yeah.
Latvia.
Yeah.
I had no idea what they're doing. So we just let the creators create and try to put the resources behind them. And then we let the internet decide. It's like, all right, do you guys like them or not?
How would you describe your workplace?
Chaotic, competitive, petty, all those things.
What type of, you mentioned like, okay, I'm watching this person, whether or not I want to hire him. When I hear him or her speak, click, move on? Or do they like, okay, I might have something?
It's that. And I don't even have to like it. It's just like, I haven't really seen this. He's just caught my attention for whatever reason. He's saying things I haven't heard. Yeah, that really is it. And it's rare, but you see it. And again, you can be wrong plenty of times, but there's just something there. It's like, why am I staying more than that 1 second almost to see what's going on here?
Why are you okay with firing people publicly?
We do everything publicly. Who did I fire publicly?
You get, I don't know if I could be the type of boss you are, Dave. I mean, you
Why?
because you cut, I think I'm a little bit more compassionate than you.
I'm trying to think, who did I fire? I'm looking for my guy. Who did I fire publicly? Francis? I tell people that fired, yeah, but I don't know if it's like, everything we do is public, by the way.
Right.
So like, if you've gotten to the point where you got fired by me, you earned it.
Yeah.
And I'll do anything public. Don't come to my, like if you're in my world,
Right.
you got to content, everything's fair game.
What is your response when people say, man, Dave don't pay enough, man. Dave need to break bread. I mean, he getting the whole loaf and he passing out crumbs.
Those people are full of shit. Find me that person who said that and that. Like, I mean, you'll have certain things. We've had like Call Her Daddy. Do you know who that is?
I do.
Alex.
Cooper.
So yeah, she's turned into a monster. We found her nothing. She's nobody. We signed the two of them to $100,000 each, right? Her and Sophia. Thing exploded. 6 months later, they're up to $500,000. They signed a 3-year deal.
Okay.
You can go be billionaires when you're like. That's what we do.
Right.
Like we don't own you after, go make all. But the peanuts thing.
Why didn't you like sign them to a 3-year deal, maybe like a year and a half in, say, hey, let's redo this deal.
We were redoing the deal. They're tough to deal with. You got athletes, same way, holdouts, their talent, and they look at it, and your talent looks at it. Hey, I got to strike when this is hot. They don't give a about us. We pay as good, I think, as any media company Wall and Gilly, they're crying, popping bottles with how much they're making. Alex got 60. McAfee's making tens. We pay. That's the biggest misnomer in the world.
Y'all pay?
We pay.
Pay?
Pay. I mean, you're huge. How much?
I'm a free agent.
Let me, all right.
I'm just David, I'm just throwing it out there. We don't have to negotiate publicly, but I'm just saying, I'm free.
When are you free?
When you want me to be free.
Are you really free?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like when? You're on like
I no parole, no probation, nothing.
Right. I mean,
Free.
You're probably very expensive right now. Our model generally is the reverse. Like we find the guys, build them up, and then they leave, as opposed to like getting them at the top because you pay the premium.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what, like you coming to us, for example, we're not going to make you bigger. You're huge. So like our secret sauce is if you're talented, we'll make you huge. But you'd be good on our networks.
What have you learned about negotiating?
I'm not a big negotiator.
You say, are you a take it or leave it type of guy?
I have a price that I know works for us, and if it's not good enough, like what are you gonna do? Like the busing guys, just 3 years, $30 million from FanDuel. That's more than we can do. So good luck. You great relationship, but I'm happy for them.
Damn. 3 for 30, huh?
Yep. Was I not even supposed to say I don't give 40%. They got the bag.
Let me ask you a question. How do you go about structuring your deals? Okay, you find somebody clearly. When you offer them, they're not making that money. So somebody's gonna give me a min guarantee, MG, 100,000 plus, 80-20, 90-10 as far as revenue with ads. That's a lot of money to a person that's making 30,000.
So most of the time we do it, they're not as huge, but they're full-time employees for us. So we basically own your IP, and it's no different than a sports contract. Like you sign for a certain amount of years, you can have incentives. We're happy to rip up if you're doing good. And at the end of the contract, if we can't pay you what you want, then you can go get a better deal, which is exactly, Bussin's the perfect example. Alex is, McAfee, they're one after another.
Well, you got to tell, you have an eye. You'd have been a hell of a GM.
For this space, yeah.
Oh, you can't. You don't think you could pick sports stars?
It's a different thing. Listen, I'd love to own a team and try it, but for this space, yeah. Like even when you start popping off, like I didn't know where it's at. There's just something that, and this credits you. You're like, oh, I'm not looking away here. There's like something going on.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think the next big sports star in media is?
So what level? Who do we say is like a real unknown?
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't know. All the people I know of are known. If they were unknown,
You'd already have a.
Yeah. We just hired Gruden.
Yeah.
Who was already top of the game, then obviously had fella. He's a monster. He's going to be right back at the top. He's just unbelievable.
He gets it. He can talk.
He can talk. He's somebody you don't want to look away. Mm-hmm. And I've met a bunch of different people through him. It's like they don't have it. Like you can see why he got where he did.
And he can tell stories. You need people that can tell stories.
And captivate. Like, again, do you want to turn the channel on this guy or not?
Right. You mentioned Gruden. And, he had a $100 million contract. That got, I think they're in mediation right now trying to get that resolved because, he got let go. I think he has still like 6-7 years on the deal. They're trying to figure that out. So how do you go to a John Gruden? Because he got X amount of dollars. Is it a situation where he likes to talk, he has something to say, and you want to give him that platform in order to say it?
Yeah, so for him, he started putting out videos. Okay. So, and I just saw it, and right away I'm like, oh my God. I'm not turning away. And we reached out. We're like, would you ever be interested in talking? Flew out to Orlando, actually, met him, hit it off, and he was ready to go. I think he was ready to just get back in this world.
Right. Are you afraid of losing him to coaching?
I'd be stunned if he's not an NFL coach at some time again. Stunned. I don't think it's gonna be like tomorrow, but the guy eats, lives, breathes football, so I think that's what he loves.
Let me ask you this. There are some emails that got leaked. Well, I don't know who leaked them. Maybe you know who leaked them. Maybe he's talked to you about, he has an idea who he thinks leaked those to damage his reputation, his credibility. Are you surprised he got fired because of that?
No, not in the way that it sounded like it went down. Sound like they're going to keep. This is my theory before, but he called Goodell an anti-football.
Well, that didn't help.
Yeah, right. And then guess who's reading? And as someone who's coming from that, I know that guy can hold a grudge a little bit. I don't think he loved that. And he's like, I'm going to this guy. And he got caught up in that whole Washington thing.
Situation, yes.
And suddenly the only emails being leaked are about him.
Right.
So I think they were like, we're going to get this guy out of here.
Wow. You mentioned P-Mac and what he's been able to do. You talk about a punter, and he was a very good punter, but punters don't normally parlay what they did on the field until media careers off the field.
Yep.
That normally belongs to quarterbacks, maybe high-level players that had a big name when they played, and they parlayed on that name moving forward. How do you think McAfee has been able to be so successful?
It's talent. Like, I mean, the second you see him, he was a super talented guy. He was very funny and very talented when he was a punter in Indy.
Yeah.
It was already kind of like
He had that swag, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like an indie legend. But I remember I hired him. He said he wanted to be like WWE champion like 3 days after I met him. Like, that's one of his goals. He worked his ass off.
Yeah.
But combine all that with he's super talented. So that's why.
How were you able to build around him?
So what he did, Barstool was already huge at the time. We hired him and we put out, hey, we're doing a casting for McAfee. Like, and just all Barstool people showed up. He picked the team he wanted around him and ran that office in Indianapolis.
Wow. How do you feel like you mentioned Alex Cooper left, McAfee? I think McAfee might have been the first one to leave.
Well, the first was at Jenna Marbles.
Okay, Jenna.
Then I don't know.
Was it Alex or P-Mac?
I think it was Alex, then McAfee, and I'm probably now Bussin. I'm probably forgetting a couple others. But yeah, how do I feel when they leave?
Yeah.
It's bittersweet. I think it's an endorsement of what we're doing. Like a new person coming up, I can be like, hey, look at these. They all went and got multi-million-dollar contracts.
Right.
So we're a good place to build that career. It weakens us and it's pressure because when someone leaves like that, you got to replace them, find the next guy.
Right.
Again, I keep saying it. It's a very sports team model. Like, you can't pay everybody the max salary.
Correct.
Because then you're not going to have no offense. You're going to have nobody. So that's what it is. And I know that going in, but it still sucks.
McAfee said, quote, he left Barstool part because of the lack of transparency with the business operations of the company.
Yep. I think that part he and I disagree on. Now, there are certainly something to be said, like maybe a check was late or anything like that, but
The check late?
yeah,
Check
like,
can't be late that day.
but it's like
I got operations. I got people got to pay you.
yeah, no, he's making plenty. It's like a commission check. We got to wait.
Oh,
till,
okay.
like,
Yeah. Okay. I see what
like
you're
the
saying. Yeah.
thing, not like his regular salary.
Right.
And he was kind of in a hybrid. So let me give you an example. PMT, Pat McAfee. If our salespeople are out pitching it, and at the time PMT is dwarfing McAfee, which it was at the time, obviously no longer. He wasn't a full-time, he got like a share of what was sold. PMT didn't, but it could appear to an outside person, well, they want all the sales to go to PMT as opposed to me because they don't have to share the commission.
Right.
Sales guys don't give a f. Sales guys just want the commission, whatever the easiest
Yes, whatever
sale.
they sell, they want their 4% off the top.
If the client is like, I'm doing PMT, our salespeople aren't going to be like, well, go to McAfee because we got to do that. So I could see how he would say, maybe it wasn't transparent, but in no way were we trying to screw McAfee, anything like that. He has said that about the business. At the same time, be like, I like Dave and Eric. I don't agree with that part of it at all. At all.
You mentioned Alex, that you lost her. Do you remember that last conversation that you had with Alex?
The very last one?
Yeah.
I mean, I still talk to her time to time. No, there was nothing specific with her. I knew the deal. And almost everybody who leaves us will take a hometown discount.
Right.
Because they like working. It's kind of like, Compton Will talked about, it's like you leave the NFL and we're kind of like a team. There's a lot of us, we bust balls, locker room vibe. But she told me what the offer, and it's like, if you can get close, I'll stay. And we couldn't get close.
Yeah, because first like 60 million, then 125, and then she just got another like that. Yeah.
She's a megastar. And she's somebody like the first time I met her.
Right.
I saw her sizzle reel. And I'm like, who made this for you? She's like, I did. I learned how to edit. I'm like, done, signed up. Let's do it. So she's self-motivated, very smart.
What made her special?
That what I just said. So like, you see a lot of people who don't put in the work to learn how, the beauty of nowadays, there's a lot of people, I get 100 emails a day. Hey, I'm super funny. I'd fit in. I can do this. I can do that. All right, show me your reels. Show me what you've done. Zip, they got nothing. The people, the internet, you can go do it. You can be self-motivated. You can put out 100 episodes. You can do whatever. So she was self-motivated. She knew what she wanted to do. She learned how to edit. She had a very motivated, clear vision of what she wanted. And it was unique.
Yeah.
People hadn't done what she did at the time.
You've heard of speed dating, right? You meet a bunch of people in one go, quickly making connections. Well, what if I told you there's something just like that? but for hiring. If you're running a business and need to find great talent, imagine meeting several qualified candidates at once, all at a designated time. Well, good news, there is Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You can post your job today and start talking to qualified candidates tomorrow. And right now, you can try Zip Intro for free at ziprecruiter.com/Shay. Zip Intro lets you meet and assess excellent candidates through back-to-back video calls. Pick a time that works for you, and Zip Intro takes care of finding and scheduling the perfect candidates. Then you get to choose who you want to meet, and you'll be talking to great people as soon as tomorrow. It's that easy. Enjoy the benefits of speed hiring with new Zip Intro, only from ZipRecruiter, the #1 hiring site based on G2. Try Zip Intro for free at ziprecruiter.com/Shay. Again, that's ziprecruiter.com/Shay. Zip Intro, post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. I had a college coach told me that I thought about transferring when I was a college All-American and was Conference Player of the Year. And he says, it's not our job to get you ready to go play somewhere else. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse because they come to you and a lot of these people are really unknown. And then all of a sudden they grow into these mega superstars and then they leave you.
Yeah, it sucks. But that's why I wouldn't recommend anybody get in a talent business. Like, one of our biggest stars right now is my dog, Miss Peaches. She's a fucking mega
She ain't going
star,
nowhere.
and I never have to renegotiate. So that's like, you want to get in the dog business, not the human business.
Are you surprised she got as big as she got?
It happened so fast, that caught me off guard. But no, once it went going, and once you start that mountain, she became like almost a female Oprah. She's
Right.
getting these huge guests, and I mean, she's got Kamala and like that. So no, I wasn't.
But you still do business where you handle the merch, right?
That ended. We used to.
Wow. So let me ask you this, because you got a model for merch. How did you come up with that model?
We needed to make money. That's it. Like, yeah, I told you in the beginning of the interview, we had the homeless guys selling shirts. I mean, hand out the newspapers.
Right.
I bought a bunch of T-shirts that said Barstool Sports on them so they could wear it. Well, they lasted 1 week. I was stuck with these shirts. I had no money. Put the shirt in the newspaper. Hey, buy these shirts. A couple of people bought them. I'd actually keep count. Hey, we sold 7 shirts this week. And there'd be a little picture of it. So day one, we were just selling merch, hustling. Needed to find a way to make money.
What's your #1 selling T-shirt?
Oh, what a question. It could be Free Brady. That was obviously, they're around iconic moments.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about the other one, the commissioner with the nose.
That's huge. Goodell clown nose, huge.
How did you come up with that idea?
So there was a shirt that we sold, Charlie Sheen, winning.
Mm-hmm.
Like he must have gone viral. Yes. So we sold that. It was on a similar blue T-shirt, and I just stuck the red nose on him. And then we had, Patricia wore it off the plane after they won the Super Bowl. Sean Payton wore it when he got suspended. It became like basically a sign of rebellion against the league. Just took off. We did this event at Foxborough. First game after they won the Super Bowl. Goodell's back at Gillette. They're playing the Chiefs. We had 40,000 towels printed with the little clown nose on it. And we did an event a week before. I said, Patriot season ticket holders, I need you to show up at this warehouse. I'm going to give you boxes. You hand them out. Crafts call me. They heard about it. They're like, we don't let anything come into the stadium. You're not allowed to promote for free. We're just going to turn the other cheek on this. We're going to let these come in.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that took a life of its own.
Have you ever met Roger?
Never. Put me in cuffs twice.
You think Roger would sit down? You think he's willing to bury the hatchet now?
I don't know. Maybe now. At one point during COVID, he did a charity auction. Mm-hmm. And it was, you could sit in his basement, watch Monday Night Football with him. So I bid $250,000, won the auction. And then I got an email being like, we did, NFL security did our background check on you. You've been arrested twice. We're not going to let you do it. You didn't have to do background check. I've been arrested twice by you guys. Like, that's the only time I've
That's the background.
Yeah, that's the background. You didn't have to go dig that. So that was a little bit ago. The thing about it, it's been good for us. If he sat down, it would be the end of it. Like, yeah. What's going to happen? Right. So I don't know. It's been an interesting saga with him.
Are you still banned by the NFL? Can you not go to an NFL sanctioned event?
I don't believe we're allowed in media day. Like a couple years ago, they had a picture. It looked like we were like Billy the Kid. They had gang. They had posters up with like Barstool employees. Dude, be on the lookout for them to f up with ESPN, with Super Bowl events.
Right.
But I only do it if the Patriots are in it, which, by the way, I still hate. I've gone over it, but you're a little like, call the National Guard thing. Like, there's no way I like very aware of that.
Dave, you couldn't have been more than like 16 or 17 with the helper.
It was before we had really gotten going, and you guys were in the height of it. But yeah, I hate that speech.
Hold on. Caleb Presley, I mean.
Gone. We lost him too.
Yes.
You know, these gambling companies, they're if we know how much we're paying people and how much we make, and someone's going to overpay by 50%. Now, it may not be an overpay for Underdog because I don't know their business model, but I know how much we made, and if I can't just lose like $10 million a year.
Right.
Can't.
Yeah. Because you can only sell so much.
Yeah, it's like I go to our salespeople, I'm like, how much can we possibly make on this guy? And I'm happy to even get close to breaking even.
Right.
And Caleb wanted to stay.
Right.
So, but
they just made him an offer he couldn't refuse, and you couldn't match, and it's got to be okay.
It is. He at one point, he's like, I told him, I'm like, I think you got to go. He's like, I'm not going to go. Like, we hired him out of college. Right. I saw him running down the North Carolina sidelines with this long blonde hair. I'm like, who the hell is that? And so we recruited him as much as we recruited out of college, and he was with us, I don't know, 7, 8 years. Wow. So, but at some point, everyone's going to get paid.
Hold on. Tom Brady signed him? Did Brady snatch him up?
Yeah.
Oh, Brady, your guy.
Listen, you can do, like, you know when you do a murder mystery, you have strings up on, like, almost everything comes back to us. Yeah. Your guy, Silver Lake, Brady's company, they're all Underdog, they're all Barstool people.
Right.
We were so early, it's like all Barstool.
But Dave, Brady is your guy. It's like if you got a girl and y'all break up, she should be off limits to Brady. He definitely should try to court her.
Half the companies won't exist. I agree with you. I agree. It sucks that they're, but it literally, every company is so twisted with like ex-Barstool people.
Right.
It's tough. And Brady's my guy. I don't know if Brady's my guy. I don't know that I'm his guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Like he likes me, but like.
But he's running a business now. You do understand.
Yeah, I don't think he's like I owe Dave a ton of favors type thing.
Why do you let your talent keep their IPs?
It varies. So if some of them come to us, like Bussin had the IP beforehand. Call Her Daddy essentially put a gun in my mouth with contract negotiations. It's like, all right, I don't have much wiggle room. And some IPs, they don't work. Like, all right, let's say you work for me and we have Club Shay.
Right.
What the fuck am I going to do with Club Shay if you leave? So some of them, it's like, you know, you're just being a dick to a degree.
Right.
It gives them more leverage. But I want creators to be like, they're a fair place. They're not trying to fuck me over. So, you know, certain ones, if it's just a general podcast that we can change, yeah. But like,
what's it synonymous with them?
Yeah.
Call Her Daddy, Bussin' with the Boys, XY.
Yeah. What are we going to do with it?
You actually signed a good friend of mine, Coach Prime, to a contract before he ended up getting, and I think he was still doing it for you when he was at Jackson State.
One of my favorite guys we've had.
He told me the same thing. He said, man, I said, man, because I was surprised that he actually signed with Barstool. And he said, man, you got it wrong about Dave.
A lot of people got wrong, but I didn't know what to expect with him. Like, I'm still pretty friendly. Like, I'll text him now all the time. I think he's one of the most, what I was expecting to walk through the door, 180, and one of the most impressive. Like, none of his success surprised me in the least after you get to know him.
I think the thing is the public persona versus the private persona is totally different.
I remember he told me a story when I was like, man, when he was coming out of college, and he's like, you know, you saw the pomp, circumstance. He's like, I researched where guys at my position got drafted, and they weren't getting paid. He's like, I knew I had to do something to create my brand and my image, and brilliant. And he's a brilliant, smart. I mean, he's literally one of my favorite hires that we've ever had.
You signed $1 million worth of game, Wallow and Gilly. How did you know about them before you signed them? So how much did
We
you
have
know
a
about?
guy, Roan, who's a battle rapper, white kid. He's like basically the real life version of like Eminem.
Okay.
So he's from Philly, and he's like, hey, there's these two guys you may want to go look at. So we went to Philadelphia, sat down, had dinner with them. Wallow was out of jail for like 5 seconds, I think, when we met him. And I remember him being like, I just hustled t-shirts on the side of the road. Like, that's how I'm making money right now. He had his own gear.
Right.
And again, it's like, that's what we want. Like, that was
kind of the model you started
yeah,
with.
Exactly. It's all right. And we were sold. We clicked. We got along. They're crazy. And I mean, I don't even know what the hell Gilly's doing now. Run out of the tunnel. That's crazy. That's like the crazy I've seen doing it. It's like the mascot. So, and again, it's like we hire him. We try to put our gasoline behind them. They're a new demo for us. I don't think most people would be like, oh, Barstool's urban. And then you let them do their thing.
Wow. How has the investment paid off? Because normally have you made any bad investments? Because we hear about Caleb Preston, we hear about McAfee, we hear about Bussin, we hear about Alex Cooper, we hear about all the.
Yeah, we those are big contracts. So you have to be really, really proven at that point to get that type of deal for us. So it's hard to do a bad contract. So those guys, Wallow and Gilly are one of the highest probably contracts we've given out. They're already there. And at the time, if we're being just totally honest, a lot of people have the perception of us just a bunch of white guys.
Yeah.
So there's a diversity ad that they add even
Yeah.
not only being super talented.
Yeah, I was wondering about that DEI stuff.
Yeah,
Y'all
it's not DEI. It's not DEI. Like, you know who we tried to hire before? It's the guys on before they went to Showtime.
Oh,
Miro,
all the smoke?
Jesus
Jesus and Romero.
Oh, okay.
Like before anyone knew who the hell they were. And even like we did talk to all that smoke. And sometimes
Y'all didn't talk to us.
What's that?
Y'all didn't talk to us.
You didn't exist yet.
No. We was free. When I got let go by Fox, we reached out to a lot of people.
They were before Fox.
Oh, yeah.
No, we were talking to them like pre-COVID almost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, we didn't reach out
So I was like,
to you then. Well, I didn't honestly know you were let go by Fox. I knew you were doing it with Skip.
Yeah.
And then you showed up on ESPN.
I was like, wow, don't nobody want to CJ.
But you kind of like, I feel like opened up after the Fox. Like you were more like, I don't know if this is going to sound bad. I felt like you were second fiddle to Skip.
Yeah.
And then once you got off that show, bloomed.
Well, we didn't have Nightcap, so Nightcap allows me to be a different
I think
person.
we talked to Ocho at one point.
Yeah. Zach Bryan, why you had the Diddy Diss song for him?
So he's dating a girl that was on my podcast. He was dating Brianna Chicken Fry, right? Who is a girl who blew up kind of social media. I was doing a TikTok podcast with her. She got offered a $12 million NDA, not to talk about the relationship. I saw the NDA. So in my head and based on what she said.
$12 million?
$12 million. She turned it down. She turned it down because she wanted to be able to talk about the relationship. To me, that's somebody doing real scumbag behavior. So this track came out.
You hold grudges, don't you?
Like you don't believe.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, I have
I believe.
champagne bottles with my enemy's names engraved on. Skipper, the CEO of ESPN.
ESPN, yeah, John Skipper.
Yeah, so they canceled our ESPN show without telling us after one episode. I was mad, made a champagne bottle. Like 2 weeks later, busted for the Coke thing, which makes no sense. That story, he got held hostage by a random Coke dealer. Anybody who believes that story is out of their mind.
You don't believe that, huh?
You found You're John Skipper, you found a random Coke dealer on the side of the street and he's holding you hostage no, I don't believe that story.
So what the hell you think happened? Because the man, he wielded so much power in ESPN for such a long period of time. Nothing ran through ESPN without Skipper's blessing.
Something happened that I don't know. I wasn't there. I think there's probably a lot of backstories, skeletons, maybe. I don't think it was a Coke dealer.
Yeah.
That forced them out.
We were talking about busting with the boys, Taylor Lewan and Will Compton. How did you know they could be special?
Saw an early episode of theirs, and it was just raw, real, and we reached out to them. We're like, hey, you guys are doing something we really haven't seen. would you be interested in come on board? So I think we've had them for about 6 years. It's been great. I actually love those guys. It sucks they're leaving, bust balls. But they just had that it, and Will's a monster. A lot of times what you find, Taylor's great, and this isn't really your case, but a lot of times what we found is the guys who were athletes who maybe didn't make all that money, and he didn't. He was like, bouncing off, getting cut.
Yeah.
They come into the media world and they're just ready to go, working this is their career. They didn't make it, and Will's a megastar.
Yeah. What did they learn how to do this? Because I think they're set up at a production company. They're doing a production company now, I think.
Yeah, they all learn. They go to the school of Barstool.
Get a degree.
And they get a degree, and then they graduate and make a lot of money.
So let me ask you this. Is that it seems to be that this is the gambling deals or the deals that they get once they leave you that they don't get, and they feel they don't get when they're under you.
Here's what it is. So we have a gigantic, all-encompassing DraftKings deal.
Okay.
So DraftKings pays us a ton of money. They don't necessarily, if Boston's with us or not with us, that doesn't change a cent of what Barstool makes.
Right.
So another gambling company can be like, hey, we can pay you all this money. We have no way to make that up. If it was a different advertiser,
right.
if it was a liquor, we could incorporate it and give the money to them.
Right.
But in this case,
it's a gambling deal.
Yeah,
that's opposite of what.
Correct. And we have an exclusivity, and DraftKings is paying us the same whether Boston's here or not Boston's here. They care me, Dan, and some people. So it puts us behind the 8 ball, and these guys have infinity money. These gambling companies right now, they're spending, they're spending like wildfire.
They do.
Yeah. Do you not have a gambling deal? Does he not?
So they wanted to split the revenue with you.
Who?
Bussin'. So like you said, you have this deal, you have an all-encompassing gambling deal.
I want to go back to your gambling deal.
It's not very good. I don't really want to talk about it, but that's neither here nor there. So you have this all-encompassing deal. And so basically, okay, Barstool, we're going to give you, let's just say I'm throwing out a number, 70 million. And so you're like, okay, this show, I'm going to give you guys 2 million of this. This show, I'm going to give you 1.5 million of this. And this show, I'm going to give you 3 million of this.
Pretty much. And now there's different people. Some people, like, if you advertise with me, or Pardon My Take, that doesn't get cut at all. Those are like shows we own.
Right.
Spittin' Chicklets, yes. Bussin', yes. But there's no way it's going to be near what they
can get on their own if a gambling deal just reached out directly to them.
Yeah, and then they can still go sell their other ads on top of that.
Right.
So I think Will and Taylor said they would have taken 40%. Like they are getting a 40%. And I mean, Will was calling, he's like, how can I stay? And I want it. I made the most aggressive offer I've made at Barstool to keep them.
Yes.
And I just couldn't do it. You get to a point, it's like, how much, it hurts the company.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you can't do it.
If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars.
That's a good slogan.
So what have you learned from each situation, talent leaving? Because it doesn't seem like, as I sit here with you, Dave, it doesn't seem to me that you bear any animosity.
It's how you leave. Like, I had a problem with Jenna Marbles, the way she left, when she left. But as long as you do the right thing, I know it going in. Like, if somebody left for less money or similar money, even then I'd be like, why? Like, don't we treat you well? But I can't really begrudge any of because I do the same thing. Like, if that's me, I'm probably making the same decision there.
Right.
So, but it does suck.
Do you ever regret, like, man, bro, we put this gas behind you, bro. We blew you up. And this how you do your boy?
No. I mean, the call her daddy thing.
Yeah.
That became a real situation, and it could have ended really ugly, and it didn't. But it's maybe petty. Like, most of the people graduate, like, when I say graduate, they'll come back. They'll be like, yeah, I owe Barstool a lot. Like, thank you. And so, no, I don't really have that. And I'm a petty guy. I almost have it on lesser people, like people who's like irrelevant. If someone goes to like, there's a guy at Underdog who tried to poach our like producers, and that drove me nuts. It's like, you won't even know who the they are if you didn't work here. That's a little different. Talent who's on contracts,
right?
Like, no, it doesn't.
Who shocked you the most that they left? Have you been surprised by anyone that they ended up leaving?
Not big names, no, not on the talent side. I had like a guy who was like went and worked for the Empire State Building. It's like you're going to work for bricks. That surprised me. Like, but not on the talent side, because again, we pay really competitively, really well, and we're a good place to work.
I'm gonna give you, of the talent that you've lost, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to bring one of them back. You can pay them what they're getting, but you only get one. You only get one. McAfee, Caller Daddy, Bussin' with the Boys, Caleb.
Are they gonna? The question would be, well, do I know everything about them that I know right now?
Yep.
Will Compton, no doubt.
Wow. So Will be the guy that you'd be willing to break the bank for. If you could say, you know what, the guy say, you know what, if you give him X, we can save it. We can sell it.
Yeah, it'll be Will. The reason is, I think he's the most, loves Barstool the most. Like I'll get people put in front of me and they're stars. A lot of times, like, well, are they bought into what we do? Do they want to like be in these stupid, like we had a skills competition like Gruden last night is announcing it happy, or are they their own thing? Like that's why I didn't say McAfee. McAfee is a supernova, but he's got a lot of interest, and he's WWE, he's this. Like we want guys who are like, where
they're all in with.
Yeah, it's like I want to be here in the doors. So that's why I'd say Will.
Okay, I like that. Dan Big Cats bringing in William. Weekly listeners. I mean, I'm looking at this, bro. I figured it out and I've been looking at it. I'm like, how do you create this?
So that is the number one sports podcast I say of all time. Mm-hmm. Like for the longevity they're doing it, the numbers. He's maybe the most unappreciated guy because he never went to a mainstream network. He's just a super talented, super hardworking guy, and people love him. And PFT is wildly talented. Mm-hmm. Right time, right place, and it exploded. And I mean, you know how hard it is to do stuff. Like a lot of people come into this and they think it's you throw your glove on the field and the thing will be successful. Right. It's a lot of fucking work.
It is. People think all you need is a camera and a microphone and that's it.
Yeah. So these guys work their asses off. They've changed the whole way a lot of people do podcasts, and people used to not put stuff out on Mondays till after NFL Sunday. These guys were at the office after the games. So they're just super talented, super hardworking, and early.
How did you two meet?
He was a fan. So when I expanded outside of Boston, I said, we're looking for guys in different cities. He applied.
Wow. How do you treat loyalty? Because it seems like to me,
number one thing.
You're a very loyal guy. And I think it's for you, and I'm just sitting here talking to you, and I didn't know you before we sit down. I still don't know you, but I'm having a conversation with you. As I see you, as I talk to you, loyalty is the foundation of which everything you do.
Number one thing. If you're loyal to me, I'll be wildly loyal to you. But if you look at us, we've had guys who've been here, like employee number one's still there. People have made millions when we did equity deals just on like handshakes, and it's a two-way street. And that's why I think in a lot of ways it's been respectful. That's also gets me in trouble sometimes because I feel like I've been crossed. You may hit me with a feather and I come back with like a sledgehammer. It isn't always like an equal thing. But yeah, loyalty is a huge part of, I don't know why, that's just my personality.
What happened to the ESPN deal? You had an ESPN deal, and you mentioned earlier that they canceled it after one show.
Yeah, they did. So here, real quick, Dan and I used to do a podcast basically when no one knew who we were, and we talked college football.
Okay.
So at the time, Sam Ponder just took over for Erin Andrews. We're watching, and she had a kid. The kid was on the podcast. We made crass jokes about her. We're like, nobody wants to see your kid, Sam. We want to see you slut it up. That's what I said. Something to that effect.
Okay.
By the way, I stand by, like, guys are watching us here pretty slut it up, whatever. This was the Wild West. Right. I didn't even know he said it. Fast forward 5 years, they get the show, and there was a rebellion within ESPN. Like, you know what these guys said about you back in the day? And I think there was so much pressure, they canceled the show. Who is the agent of hers who started? He's a big deal. Nick Khan. Yeah. And then he asked me.
He's at WWE now.
Yeah, he asked me to a fight in New York like 3 weeks after it happened. I go, do you think I don't know what the just happened at ESPN? Like, I know who complained. Yeah. So that's what happened with ESPN.
Bro, How the hell do you sell a company for over $500 million and then buy it back for $1?
It's one of the great trades of all time. So
better than the Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah, it was. So we were sold to a gambling company.
Yes.
Gambling super regulated. You need licenses. If a state regulator in Indiana doesn't like you, you're in trouble.
Yes.
I'm a controversial guy. It was definitely creating issues for Penn getting licenses. They had an opportunity to do this deal with ESPN, and I think they were like, we're not the right holder for Barstool. Rather than go to war with me, that we're friends. They're like, this just didn't work, essentially. It was losing money at the time, so we cut that deal. I got the company back. I think they would have taken it. A lot of people would have lost their jobs because there wasn't a need for a lot of we have idiots. Like, what are they going to do if they lose their job? They've done nothing else. So it was a bunch of factors all coming together. Again, it worked out for me. Right time, right place.
Yeah, how did you, but for $1, Dave?
Dollar. You can't give it to somebody. It's going to be an official sale. $1.
Why not? Okay, why not $100 million? Okay, they would have lost $450 million. But damn,
I wouldn't pay $100 million for it.
You wouldn't?
No. And I look at it like this. I knew we were aligned. It's like, I'm the guy. Like, Dan's with me. Like, you need me bought in on whatever you're doing with Barstool. No, I wouldn't have paid $100 million.
Well, why did they didn't sell it to another company?
You'd need me in that probably too. Like, what if you sell that to a company I don't like? And it's like, hey, this thing, my baby that I've been working on 20 years, maybe they liked us. And it's like, I don't think they wanted to create a war, especially in the scheme of what they did with ESPN. Like, this was kind of a small, they're a $1 billion company.
Yes.
Then. So in the scheme of their world, it's like, we get along with them. Let's do right by them.
So let me get this straight. That wasn't the first time that you sold Barstool.
Second.
First sale was to the Cherning Group, Peter Cherning, right?
Yep.
Rupert Murdoch's longtime second in command for $15 million with 51% equity. The second sale to the Penn Group, $163 million, 36% of the company. The third sale, Penn Group, $388 million, 100% of the company. You said you'll never sell Barstool again.
In the deal we did, if I sell it again, Penn gets 50% of the proceeds. So that right off the bat kind of prevents it. And we're doing great. Like, I didn't love living in someone else's world. Mm-hmm. So, I like where we're at. Now, if you want to write me a check for $1 billion, I'll I never say never. Bill Parcells, I reserve the right to change my mind.
Do you have to sell a company to become super rich in America?
Or be in finance. Like those finance guys who are trading
or
stocks.
Private equity.
Yeah.
When you buy for a little, you get on the Barstool like Google or something like that, Netflix.
Those guys, I mean, next level. But yeah, I think you do.
Can I ask you this? Why don't you think you can be canceled? Because you said some pretty outlandish things.
If you back up, a couple of things. If you give people an inch, they'll take a mile. You can't apologize for things that you don't think you've really f***ed up or said bad things about, which I haven't really done. I stand by almost everything I've said. I think some things may be out of context, misconstrued. But if you have a fan base that knows you, that truly knows you, and mine does, for like, they've been following for 20 years, they'll have your back, provided, I don't think we've ever done anything out of hate, out of misery, out of anything.
You don't feel that you've done anything maliciously?
I know I haven't done anything maliciously. And again, a perfect example. And I know you're a Caitlin Clark fan. I've seen it.
I am.
I live for Caitlin Clark. I ignited, to a degree, I want to say, the race aspect of Angel Reese versus Caitlin. I will go to my grave. There was no race behind it. I watched the national championship. I bet on Iowa. I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. I thought what Angel Reese did at the game was classless. Nothing to do with the color of her skin. I tweeted that and became a race. He's only said, had nothing to do with that. I will stand forever. And I think the way they acted for a long time, where Caitlin didn't say a word and she's taking bullets like they are coming at, that's not a race issue to me. For whatever reason, with me, like, whoa, Gilly apologize for me. They're like, oh, we don't stand with Dave on that. Now, they told me they were going to do it.
Right.
But people, there's pressure outside. I will go to my grave. I'm never going to apologize for that because it wasn't malicious. I stand by it.
Right.
And by the way, the biggest enemies I got are white. Roger Goodell, Peyton Manning in the heat of the rival. So it's like I'm not going to cater. If the outside world's going to take what I say and just be, oh, this is a racist. It's not. I hate LeBron. You know why I hate LeBron?
Whoa.
I fucking hate LeBron.
We got to part ways.
Because you know what? Celtics, LeBron were a heated rivalry. And you know who hated LeBron more than I did? KG, Rondo. So yes, I hate his guts. And that's a rivalry thing. So it is tough. A lot of times, though, like that, if I still show a video of Angel Reese like airballing a layup, people will be like, that's because it's a race. It's like, no, it's because I love Caitlyn. I don't like her because they're rivals. And that's sports.
Do you think it was orchestrated? Do you think people actually write hit pieces or say things or do things to try to see you fail?
Yes, 100%, no doubt. That's a fact. Is it going to get dark tonight? Yes, factual statement. I know that's a fact.
But why? What is it that people get wrong about Dave Portnoy?
I think people get a lot of things wrong. I think I call it as I see it, but I mean, I would say the victim of a pretty aggressive smear campaign, like a couple years ago, like Business Insider. And when you say, do I think it's a coordinated attack? This is when we were part of Penn. 2 vicious hit pieces on me released the day before Penn's earnings. Like that's a hit piece. Right. That's not, hey, we really think, and I know the tactics went around reporting. I don't know. For that one, I thought maybe because I got involved in this GameStop, which like that stock thing, and I was killing a lot of bigwigs. So I have no idea. I think people get a little leery maybe of voices that they feel like they can't control. Like it's, hey, we can't get this guy to say whatever. He's a loose cannon. Or I've offended people. I've said things. Like I ran the owner of the Mets, Steve Cohen, off Twitter. Like he deleted his account because I was hammering him during game time. I thought people be like, that's the worst enemy you could ever want in a billion years. We're past it, but who knows? I really don't know. I can see people at it. I've had a lot of enemies.
Yeah. Do you have a PR team?
No.
Do you have a lot of friends?
Yeah, I don't believe in PR. I don't want PR.
Okay.
PR is telling the truth.
I've seen you popping bottles in the pool with companies and people that came for you. They go down.
Correct.
Why do you feel that you need to celebrate their demise?
It's not good enough. That's my personality. It's what fuels me. You know, Tom Brady's crying because he got passed over by 6 quarterbacks. I get fueled by people who've doubted me, or more accurately for the bottles, who have gone out of their way to create difficulties for us, the company. It's never, I don't want someone to like die, but I want their professional life to be up.
You want their professional life to die. Not you. I don't want you to die literally, but I want you.
Like Skipper's the perfect example. We had the bottle, we puffed it. He canceled. You can cancel our show.
Right.
But to not call us and be like, hey, we're having a I found out on the TV. Like I found out, he never told us. That to me, it's like, all right, you're dead to me. Now that's how you're going to treat this? We've been talking to you for a year and a half.
Right.
And you don't even tell us the show's canceled.
Wow. How dirty can this business get? Is it a dirty business?
Media?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's real dirty. But I mean, again, there's certain.
Did you know it was this kind of way before you got really like deep into it?
And I don't know as much as like the internal. I think our company is not overly like what goes on at an ESPN internal. I don't know. I've heard rumors it's pretty dirty, but there's different elements of it. Like I don't concern. I ended up getting in like the politics realm a little bit. That's a scary, dirty business.
Right.
Like that's I think a lot of the hate that comes my way. That's a hell of a lot dirtier than I think media.
Right. I saw the situation going on at Fox, Skip, Joy, this hairstylist, Nusheen, and you was like, the accused shouldn't listen to their lawyers. If I didn't do anything wrong, if I didn't say anything wrong, I'm going to shout it from the tallest building I can because I want everybody to know this is not me and I did not do what I'm being accused of doing.
Yeah, I 100% believe that. I've been accused of I didn't do. And I mean, I went instantly because I knew I didn't do it. I think a lot of times people are told, even our company, my lawyers would be like, don't say it. It's like, I'm not going to perjure myself because I'm telling the truth.
Right.
I think a lot of companies don't give a shit about their employees in that situation. Fox, I'm sure the lawyers are like, don't say a word.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You're part of a lawsuit, bro.
Yeah, and guess what? They're not looking out for you. They don't give a fuck about you. They care about Fox.
Fox,
so
absolutely.
If you're innocent, there's no friends. I would scream it.
Mm-hmm. But you also like Jason Whitlock came for you. So how do you feel about?
He's a clown. Jason Whitlock's a clown. Jason Whitlock is on the record as being, I love Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy is the best. He's this. Jason Whitlock is a click-chasing clown.
Oh, really? You don't say.
Yeah, he's out there calling that girl, what do you say, big like butter, sugar, skin, big
peanut butter skin with that rack.
In the next sentence, he said that. Like, what are you talking about?
Have you ever met him?
Never. You know what? He knows my name. He's gotten me a couple times, to his credit, but he's just fishing. He's taking his little pole. He's like, maybe he'll bite and I'll get some clicks.
Right.
I try to ignore it. I tell people, actually, don't send me bad stuff about me because I have a hard time ignoring it. I don't even want to know it exists.
But you do realize that when you respond to people that take shots at you, giving them content. They're lazy because they can't create 100%. Content on their own. So let me hope he can feed me.
Yeah, and my Achilles heel is I don't give a It's like I know I'm being played here. I know he's getting clicks, but this guy, I mean, he's a clown.
Your former Michael Rapaport.
Clown too.
Damn.
Are you friends with him? He's a crazy person.
We go back and forth. I like Mike. We converse. I haven't talked to him since I left Fox, but he's LeBron. I like LeBron. He doesn't like LeBron, and so we go back and forth. We have healthy conversation, healthy banter. But I don't, like I said, I don't really know.
We had a huge falling out, so we hired him. I thought he was super talented.
Right.
Like he had this rant on draft pick of the Knicks, but we had a huge falling out. He essentially seriously said that all our fans were idiots and stupid, and I had to let him go. I was still friends with him I'm sorry, we can't have you insulting our entire fan base. And still work friendly.
Right.
Side note.
Why would he say that?
He was in a fight with another one of our employees, and it spiraled. So I woke up to this huge thing of him just killing our fan base.
Well, why did he just if he had an issue with the guy that worked in the company, why not take it out on the guy?
Should have.
What the fans got to do with it?
Should have. We would have never had him falling out. Then after that, he started coming at me, which I don't care. He's like, I want to fight Dave. I actually I can't even lift my shoulder. I sent him a contract to fight him in this boxing thing we had because he said, I want to do it. But fine, all that, talking shit.
Right.
And then he sued us. So he sued us for saying we defamed him. It's like, dude, you started the whole thing. So ended up I had to go to like a deposition for it. It's crazy. He calls himself the king of shit talk. And then he was suing us over shit talk.
Wow.
Crazy.
Let me ask you this. How have you been able to secure major sponsorship brands when a lot of people boycott, like, look, y'all with Barstool, y'all with Portnoy. How have you been able to do that, Dave?
I think that's shifted. Because we've come fairly mainstream at this time. And you look, it's like, well, we had all this talent. That's one. The entire media is moving our way. Like, I mean, I've heard the stuff you talk about on your show. It's not too different from anything we talk about on our show.
True.
So it's become more mainstream, and we deliver. So you have those things, and we do right by our clients. Yeah. Like I remember never mind. Not telling.
What happened?
No, I'm not telling. No way.
This is your opportunity.
Nope.
How do you decide who you partner with? Anybody that comes with a bag?
No, it's not just that, because it goes back to what you just said of we tell them, do you know who we are? Do you know what Dave is? Do you know what he does? Pizza review, do you know what PMT? Like, be secure with what Barstool is, because we don't want somebody at the first sign of trouble who's like, what's going on here? Because that is bad for them, bad for us. So we got to find the right partners. There's a lot of them now. And again, it's crazy because I think we haven't done anything really, when you really look at what we've said and done, and then look at other things that have been said, and like Shaq with Angel Reese, when he's like, I want to see her playing in her underwear and like running up and down. If I said that, I'd be in jail.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In jail.
Are we going to see more of these deals? We saw the Kelsey brothers get this big deal. We saw Caller Daddy get this big deal. Rogan is at the top of the food chain. He just got another, $250 million deal.
Yep.
Are we going to see more of these deals?
Yeah, I think so. But
You do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, he's. Yeah, I mean, you're picking top of the food chain guys, right?
Yeah.
So super talented people. But all right, you just named three of the best. If you're like, who's the Theo Vaughn is definitely up there, but there's only a handful. There's a handful. PMT. Those people will, but in any business, if you take the absolute top of the top, yeah, they're still out there.
Right. Investment. Besides Barstool, what's been your best investment? You say you don't know anything about crypto. That seems to be the hot investment vehicle right now.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're doing there. Most of my investments have failed outside of Barstool. High Noon has been an unbelievable partnership. It's not really investment. Yeah, I'm not good at investing.
Have you ever thought about making Barstool its own streaming service like a Netflix or an Amazon?
Not so much in that.
I mean, would you want to have an NFL game or an NBA game or some type of sporting?
We tinkered with league rights. Like we had a bowl game before Snoop. The Arizona Bowl was ours. We did college basketball tournament. For me, our business model, wildly expensive, like to pay for those live rights. And you better have some like huge deals. So it's not something I'd see us doing anytime soon.
What have you learned most about money?
Once you get it, it's easy to get a lot more.
Is it?
Yeah, oh yeah. Like it took me 10 years to make anything. If you're like, hey Dave, you got to go make an extra $5 million in the next week, I could do that like that.
Damn.
Once you got it, once you get over the hump, it's just.
It comes.
I remember the first time I saw it when I really got a lot. I was like, I spent 5 hours just talking about the interest I was getting on it. I couldn't believe it. It's like, I'm making money not doing it. It's just like.
That's when you're really making money, when you're sleeping.
Yeah,
when you're not working.
Yeah.
And your money's working for you, although you're not working for it.
Yeah, but it took so long for us to turn the corner and make money. But once we got going, it goes.
What's your best and worst purchase? Are you a car guy? Do you like extravagant?
Not a car guy. I got some houses that I love. I'm a horse guy.
Okay, horse.
So yeah, like
what type of horse?
Thoroughbreds.
Okay.
So
you racing? You try to get to the Derby?
I wish. So I'm poor for that world.
Yeah.
Like I'm rich for 99.9%. Horse? No, I'm still a poor guy. So it's really hard for me to compete.
I know Bob Baffert personally. I can get you in touch.
I know. Bob. He's gonna need the money to get the horses. So, my houses. I got a Nantucket house. That's my dream house.
The one, $42 million that you.
Yeah, richest house in Massachusetts history. I grew up going like. So when I started Barstool, I would go there for a day. Couldn't even get a hotel. It's an expensive place. Barstool, as it was going, I go for a weekend, for a week, for a month. Finally bought a little place, and then I bought like my dream house.
So that's your primary residence in Nantucket?
No, primary is Miami, taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing the tax thing.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, you gotta.
So you gotta in Miami. You like overlook the water. So you're a water guy because Nantucket's on.
I like to be on the water, but not on the water.
Okay.
Like I don't want to be on a boat.
Right.
I want to be on the water. Yeah.
Wow. Houses. Let's see. I just read that.
And I'm gambling. I like to bet.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you just bet $1 million on something.
The Bills to win the Super Bowl. I made $1 million on Trump coin in like 6 hours.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, I made $1 million on this crypto coin. It's free bet, free roll. Put it on the Bills. So that was tough.
Are you friends with Dana White?
Yeah.
Because he gambles too. Y'all go gamble.
He gambles me into like he's sitting at the tables.
Yeah.
Playing it.
So you don't play tables. You just gamble.
Not nearly like that.
Okay.
I much prefer sports.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I mean, last night I'll bet college hoops. I'll bet. Yeah.
What's the most you won in a single
bet? I had last year. I think I won $2.6 million on UConn to win the national title. I bet straight $1 million. I'm a Michigan guy. Bet them on the Rose Bowl. I got hot at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
I think the UConn's the single biggest that I won.
So when you win a bet, so like you're like, okay, if I win this bet, do you like if I win this bet, I'm gonna go buy this, or you just gonna take it and like bet something else?
Keep rolling. Buy a horse. Keep betting on sports. Yeah. I'm not I'm not outside of houses. Right. I don't really have extravagant.
So you don't like a car? You're not an old school car like maybe a 68 or a Chevy Sevelle or a Cuda, something like that?
I have a 70s remade Bronco, the ones that they like remake from scratch. I have one of those. So I do like the old cars, and they're good island cars for Nantucket. Right. But I'm not like a gearhead. Like if the thing breaks down, I'm. What's this next? What's that look?
Your dad called you a legitimate degenerate.
Yeah, I yelled at him for that.
You take care of him, right?
Yeah, of course I do.
And he called you that?
Not only did he call me that, the New York Times, who was writing a hit piece on me, used his quote against me in like the New York Times.
He contributed?
Yeah, he did this article. He felt really bad about that. But I've gambled. My dad used to take me to the horse racing. It was a documentary we made.
Right.
And he was talking about me, and they took his quotes. And I'm like, I call him like, hey, just so you know, the New York Times is using you as the lead witness on why I should be banned from gambling. So yeah. I wasn't happy about that.
At what age did you start gambling? You say your dad took you to the track?
I would go to the horses and bet with him as a kid, go to Saratoga.
Right.
So I was always interested, like sports. I always loved it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you like betting the ponies?
Love.
So you still bet the ponies like that now?
I love it. Yeah. I just bought like couple horses. So yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the animals. I have a house near Saratoga racetrack, walk over, I love all of it.
They eat a lot.
Yeah, Secretariat and Joe Blow cost the same amount of money. That's what everyone says. Hay is hay, so they're expensive.
Hello, when you first started Barstool, you filed bankruptcy protection after losing $30K.
Yeah, that was my dad.
Did you think that you could bounce back? Because I hear a lot of people, you're not the first, I mean, you're not going to be the last, that's filed bankruptcy and were able to bounce back.
Yeah, it wasn't even bouncing back. My dad, again, is an attorney.
Right.
So I had, when I started Barstool, like shuffling around, doing everything, he's like, you can get rid of this. I swear I asked him 100. I'm like, will this come back to bite me in the ass? He gamed the system. He's like, do it. Right. I mean, 30 grand, a lot, but not a lot.
Right.
In hindsight, I would never advise that to do it. And I think they actually changed the laws. He's like, they're going to change that. So, yeah, that was also in the New York Times.
How do you get a $60,000 credit card that day?
I had like 10 different credit cards.
What the hell were you buying?
I was starting the business. I was putting
okay. You putting everything on the credit card.
I was just moving everything around. Yeah.
And you owed your dad 18.
Yeah.
But you'd have paid him back tenfold.
My dad's got his apartment. They got in Florida. And yeah, they're taking care of it.
Is it really hard to start a business from scratch?
Super hard. I mean, the thing about Barstool is the only thing I've ever done, and it became successful. Right. I always thought it would, but yeah, 95% of businesses probably fail. Again, I always believe we would, but that doesn't, I may have just been that, again, a lot of luck involved in the right place, right time.
You ever had a tax lien placed on?
No.
Business lesson. What's your biggest business lesson? That if you could teach someone, like, what would you tell them? What was some of the first things starting a business?
Don't listen to other people. There's so much people who talk about doing stuff and just do it. And that's not really a business lesson, but it's, you write a business plan, you do this, you're talking, you're trying to do just do it. Like kind of get into it and figure out where it goes.
What about Hawk Tuah girl? I mean, she came out, she had her moments of fame, and then she come out with this coin, and then they get it, and then boom.
I would have bet my life I was not getting a Hawk Tuah question during this interview. I did not see a Hawk Tuah.
How do you scam people out of in cryptocurrency?
So the way I understand it,
because I knew you would understand.
Someone like Hawk Tuah can't do this herself, even if she wanted to. She needs other people. And like, if I want to launch a coin, which I've looked, you need other people to do it. A lot of these people are shady. They have the controls. Hawk Tuah didn't have the controls. Right. They're telling her you can make this money, you can do that. And once it goes, these people basically pull the escape latch. And no one knows who these people are. And Hawk Tuah is sitting there.
She's the face of it. And they're we don't know them. We got you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that happens to a lot of these. There's been no successful celebrity coin launch. You could argue Trump's has been successful because it's still there. You can still trade it. But like Logan Paul had a bad one. This Hawk Tuah clearly was bad. What's his name? The fighter did one the other day. He may have intentionally, Ryan Garcia. I don't know if he intentionally did it. He deleted. So none of them have been on the up and up.
You were once married. Would you do it again?
I'd have to know it was dead ass right. Like, and I don't know how I would know.
How do you know?
I don't know how I know. So that's why it's hard for me to answer.
What did you learn during that marriage about yourself?
She's still my best friend. Like, we get along.
Better as friends than in
Yeah,
a relationship.
yeah, but she was with me at the beginning of this company, and like, if she called me right now, it's like, I need you, I'd be there. It's like, it just didn't work as a marriage.
How's the dating life for Dave Portnoy right now?
So I'm talking to a girl. I went through a wild stage, kind of, like, because when I started, I was married, no one knew who I was. Like, girls weren't exactly available to me. I had no money, no future, no career. Then you become famous. That kind of changes the game a little bit. You know, a lot more options. So, and I was no longer married. So I went through a pretty crazy time, I would say. But now, not nearly. I don't even like going out anymore.
Hold on. Is it true your ex-wife have access to your bank account?
Yeah. I told you, I trust her implicitly.
I beg your pardon?
Implicitly. I trust her. If she wanted to take it, she could. There's very few people that you meet where you can trust implicitly. And to be honest, she was there when we were living at the in-laws' house. She was there when we couldn't afford a hamburger. She was there through the grind. She, to me, just like we kind of separated when we started making it.
Right.
So she doesn't get to enjoy any of that.
Right.
To me, that's not right.
Wow.
I'm a loyalty guy.
You are a boy. You loyal to the song for real.
Yeah.
I don't know too many people doing
I
that.
know it surprises people, but she could have, if she wanted to do something with it, she
Right.
could have done with it a long time ago.
Bill Gates said he regrets getting a divorce. And you said that she's your best friend now. Do you regret getting divorced, or this is the best thing that could have
I think
happened?
it was the best thing. Yeah. Wow. Then Bill Gates' wife also like drag him over the coals.
Oh,
I think she did.
I mean,
I think she said some nasty shit about him too.
Yeah, I think what he said, he probably shouldn't have been as close as he was to Epstein and some things like that.
Well, you can't go wrong with that. That's a pretty good thing to say.
Yeah,
That's
you
a public
probably
statement.
wish I should have stayed away from him.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Tom Brady ex-wife having a kid.
I know.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that bothered him?
Yes. He posted that cryptic Instagram message like a sunset or some shit. Yeah, I think it bothered him. And they knew each other, didn't they?
Yeah, because that was her like a trainer when they were together.
Yeah.
So Tom is probably thinking in the back of my mind, when I'm on it and I'm studying and I'm away.
I think that's why he still posts like the shirtless photos and all
Let
that
him know
shit.
yeah.
He's letting the world know he's still out there. He has to.
Damn.
But I think it does bother him.
But let me ask you this. If your ex-wife, is she married? Is she remarried?
I think they just had a kid.
Your ex-wife?
Oh, no, I thought you were Brady.
No, I'm talking about, no, your ex-wife. Your ex-wife.
No, she's dating somebody, boyfriend.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah. I want her to be happy. It's true.
But then
friendship.
she can't get no more access, Dave. She got to cut off, cut a low.
I won't even notice if it's gone.
You mean to tell me she might?
I mean, if she takes it all.
No, but she might take like, you know what? I'm gonna have this extravagant wedding. I'm gonna spend, $500,000 on a wedding. You cool with?
Yes. 100%. 100%.
Lord have mercy. You want kids?
No, I hate kids. I do. I hate kids. I have no interest in kids right now. None.
Really?
I hate kids.
You don't want a little Dave?
No.
A little Portnoy Junior?
No. I'm a dog guy. I hate kids. Don't like being around them. Don't like them. Don't think they're cute. Don't want to hear about them.
What about your upbringing? You have a pleasant upbringing?
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, super. It says middle class and upbringing, little suburb outside of Boston, one sister, very as blah normal for like a white middle class kid as you could ever have.
You play football, baseball, you play
baseball. Yeah, football, I have a bum shoulder and need like replacement. But yeah, I was pretty good at baseball.
You go to college?
Yeah.
You go on a baseball scholarship?
No, I thought I could walk on at Michigan. Couldn't. Didn't even come close.
They were really good?
It wasn't that they were really good. They just didn't do like real tryouts, to be honest. It was like that. It's like, hey, take 3 swings. They took no walk-ons. So there was nobody who made the team.
Wow. You were diagnosed with skin cancer and had it surgically removed from your neck. Did you know? I mean, was it a spot or something that you feel?
I'm always in the sun.
Okay.
Always. So I just started doing the routine checkups, which everyone should do. They found a little dot. I would have never known.
Right.
And they cut it out.
You do sunscreen now?
Little bit, but even I like the sun. Let's just say that. I like tan. If you can't tone it, tan it.
You were against the TikTok ban.
I was.
Why?
Because I think there's so many small businesses and creators who are earning a living. I think the people are talking about have no idea what's going on in social media. And if you're building something and that's your primary platform, you've been building it now for years.
Yes.
And you just get ripped away. You can't just be like, all right, I'm going to Instagram. That's not how it works. So to just rip that many livelihoods away or advertising agencies without a plan, that really bothered me.
Do you believe it was political?
Yeah. I mean, I don't get the China. It's all China, but everything's political and posturing and things like that. I don't really get the spy. I mean, I don't get where they're learning from it, but it was really the small businesses.
Are you okay with these billionaires, these big companies trying to particularly buy TikTok? You control a lot. You control media, man.
You definitely control the media, and Trump has it. If you look, you got the Amazon, you got Zuckerberg, you got all. So I get that.
And he got X.
Yeah, so I get that. But I would say times are always shifting, and people like the left definitely were controlling the New York Times and the Washington Post and NBC and CNN. So a lot of that, and this is maybe unfair, but I would hope that no one vehicle shapes somebody's opinion. Like if I see something and I'm like, what the hopefully you go research it on your own and you can make your own decision. But it is a concern.
Right. Brady Mahomes. If Mahomes wins the three-peat, does he pass Brady as the GOAT?
No, and it's an easy answer. Now that you can say that's the best team because they won 3, but we have the benefit of them meeting head to head in the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. Brady won.
Right.
AFC Championship at Kansas City. Brady won.
Right.
So you gotta, if they played and Brady's at the end of his career, still beat him. So I don't know how you can. Now he wins 7 in a row. Different story.
No.
Not yet.
Let me ask you this: you're a Taylor Swift fan. You're a Swiftie. So you rooting for the Chiefs and Kelsey?
No, I'm not, because I told you, Taylor Lewan asked. I didn't know Patrick Mahomes hated Barstool, but he does.
He does?
Yeah, I found that out today. Taylor Lewan at media session asked if Mahomes would do an interview with Bussin that they're leaving. He's like, now that we're leaving Barstool, will you do an interview with us? He's like, yeah, that helps. So I didn't know he hated us, so now I don't like him.
Wow. What made you defend Taylor Swift against when Kanye?
Kanye's a piece of shit. Kanye's an absolute piece of shit. I don't get people out to defend him.
You know what I noticed? People that you don't like, there is no misinterpretation of where you stand on these people.
Yeah, I think Kanye gets one of the great free passes of all time. Now, I'm Jewish. He hates Jews, loves Hitler, so you're not going to be my cup of tea. Like, if you're going around me like, I like what Hitler did, it's like, well, I don't like you.
Right.
So what he did at the Grammys the first time when he stole her award, this is a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
I don't know what his problem. He thought someone else should win. You have no problem with her.
Right.
This girl's 17, you're stealing it. And then after that, they edit a phone call. They edited a phone call, her and Kim Kardashian, of Taylor when I want to sleep.
He
with
put it
Taylor.
in a song. Yeah, he put it in a song.
Yeah, and they say, we called her, she said it's fine. They put out an edited voicemail that made it, and they recorded her, that made it sound like she agreed. Taylor the whole time, that's not how it went. I didn't say that. Years later, the actual voicemail, unedited, comes out. Everything Taylor said was the truth. Everything they said was a lie. That drives me crazy. And it did affect her. She didn't leave her house for like a year because all Kanye fans are trashing her. So I'm a big, truth, straightforward. It resonated with people trying to smear her name. So that made me start liking her, and then I got into the music. But yeah, that's that.
And she wrote you a handwritten letter.
She did. I went to the concert. Her brother tapped me on the shoulder, handwritten letter, and the letter essentially said, and a lot of people would think these are two people who are not going to be friendly or aligned.
Correct.
But it basically said, to the effect, we appreciate the support. I think we kind of see similar on when people say things about you that you stand by and don't think was true. I hugged her mother. So I think she appreciated the support because Kanye is huge. Sometimes I don't think, and people have said about me, the influence he wields, but he says like what he did the other day what do you think of what he did at the Grammys with the naked girlfriend?
Clicks.
Yeah.
He got what he wanted. I mean, my wife is the most, what is it? What was it? Googled.
Yeah, if I walked into the Grammys and I shot somebody, they're gonna Google me.
Yes.
Like that. Like there's shock value.
I don't get him either. Your Patriots, we know you're a Patriots fan.
Huge.
Gerard Mayo, he gets 1 year, 4-13, and they come on, they bring Vrabel back. What do you think about that firing? I don't know if you're a Kraft fan or not.
I am. I mean, it's tough because I don't know if you can say two things can be true. Mayo got screwed.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can give a guy 1 year and how he can be your guy. The team sucked before he got there.
Yes.
What were you expecting? So
You let Belichick go.
correct. And by the way, they were bad with Belichick at the end of his tenure.
Correct.
Horrible. So I don't know what people are expecting. And to me, it's like you got your quarterback, Drake May, who I think everyone's like great.
Gonna be really.
So you got a structure. I love Vrabel as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I would have been okay either way, but it's like, well, Vrabel's probably not going to be there if you don't get him this year.
No, he's not.
Right. So I love Vrabel as our coach. Having said that, if I was Gerard Mayo, I'd be pissed and he got screwed.
I know you're Celtic. You're all things Boston, and I know you're a big Jason Tatum fan.
Yes,
because
huge.
you're upset about Steve Kerr not playing him at the
Still mad
Olympics.
about that.
And you're upset about Brandon Jennings calling him the softest Boston Celtics superstar ever.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he takes a lot of heat. I don't know what
Why?
I don't know what they want. What do they want from the guy? Like, you just won a world championship. I think, but I'd be stunned if they don't repeat. They're loaded. They're good. I don't know what the hell they want from the guy. I don't know why he didn't play in the Olympics.
Right. You think he's a top 5 Celtic?
Oof, that's such a tough. Obviously, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Cousy. Yeah, he's getting there.
What you got? Paul Pierce, McHale.
I think you got to put Tatum above those. It's tough. We got so many greats, and I could be forgetting.
Because I think the thing is like, okay, he didn't
Pierce
win
only got
Finals
one.
MVP.
Pierce only got one.
Yeah.
So, and Tatum still got a lot.
Yeah, he's young. I think Tatum's what, 26?
Yeah, so right now maybe I'd take Pierce.
Right.
But I mean, if he wins this year, I'm a big championship guy.
What about the Lakers getting Luka? You upset about that, huh?
No, I'm not upset. That was crazy. An absolutely crazy move. I mean, nobody I think really knows.
Nobody knows how to. But.
And I mean, I don't know how LeBron and him are going to coexist necessarily. It's like they have no rim protector. So it doesn't. The craziest part is they didn't shop him. That to me makes no sense from what you've read. It's like they were just sending him to the Lakers. Crazy.
Bronny, if you you don't like kids, but let's just say for the sake of argument, and you had a kid, and you know what, and you're doing what you're doing now, would you do everything you can to kind of steer your kid in the profession that you're in, or you let him chart his own path?
I'd let him do his own thing. Like I feel bad for Bronny right now. I think it's crazy that he's on that team and the attention he's getting. And it's one of my all-time LeBron takes. He's like, he said he wants to kind of he felt bad putting all the pressure on him, but you named him Bronny Jr. and you put him on the Lakers. It's like you're putting him in a pretty big spotlight, hot red spotlight.
The Wolverines, the quarterback, $12 million. Underwood. And you chipped in.
So I got involved in this in one of the craziest NIL stories.
Yeah, we want to hear this one.
So I'm a Michigan guy. And now I'm not a firm believer. I'm not like, Michigan's a rich school. They didn't give a about me till I started getting money. I root for them.
Right.
But you start getting money and suddenly the phone's ringing and
your alumni dues are due, Dave.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like, hey, I see you love Michigan. But the NIL stuff starts happening and I get a call or it's like, hey, this person wants to talk to you, right? And it was a woman's name I had never heard of. Yolen, I think. Jolin. I'm like, so I don't want to deal with the alumni. I don't want to deal with any of this shit. Like, I'm not into it. Well, her husband is the Oracle guy, Larry Ellison. Oh, yeah, I'll take that call. So Larry's going to be on the call? All right. I mean, a legend, second richest guy on earth. Mm-hmm. So Jolin went to Michigan, big Michigan fan.
Right.
Larry Ellison, suddenly big Michigan fan. And they're what they were waiting for, I said on a podcast, I was so mad after Michigan lost. I'm like, this. I will buy us a quarterback. I'll do $3 million. I'll find us a quarterback. We're never going to have no quarterback again. That provoked Joel, and she's like, aha, someone else cares about Michigan as much as I do. That's how the conversation started.
Okay.
They're like, we're recruiting this kid, Bryce Underwood. I already knew about him because people told me.
Right.
He went to school 20 minutes north.
Right. Because he's going to LSU.
Yep. 2 days later, we're on a phone call with Larry Ellison, myself, Michigan, and the Underwoods. It's like out of a movie, and we're pitching this kid. It literally, it's like, what world am I in? I could tell that no one, this was all my interpretation about the money. I didn't kick in anything. I'm getting credit for it. Larry Ellison, they bought the quarterback. It just crazy world of NIL.
So how much did the kid get direct deposited immediately?
That I don't know, probably a decent amount. I think LSU just couldn't. I mean, how can anyone compete?
No, they couldn't compete with that.
And he's a monster. Wow, it's a crazy world, the NIL.
But do you ever think like, okay, you invest all this money in the kid and it doesn't pan out? I guess that's the chance you take with an NFL player. The guy you pay a guy a ton of money.
The good thing about Larry Ellison, he can cycle through.
The $12 million ain't hurt.
Yeah.
When you worth $200 billion, $12 billion, you're not even missing that. You don't even know it's gone out of your account.
Infinity money.
Has the Big Ten surpassed the SEC as the top conference?
That's a no doubter. I think once NIL came,
level the playing field.
Yeah, because they're already paying them. Now everyone's paying them. I mean, that's exactly what happened.
What did you get a degree in at university?
Education. I couldn't pass, so I went to Michigan. Weird. I applied to the liberal arts, just the general program, got denied. Mm-hmm. They wrote back a letter, we think you'd be a good nurse. I don't know why they said
a nurse?
Nurse.
I didn't apply for liberal. How do you get liberal arts go from nursing to liberal?
They must have needed male nurses. and by the way, I pass out of the sight of blood, so I don't know where they got that. My sister was in school. I called. She went to Michigan.
Yeah.
Said, if I go as a nurse, can I transfer to the liberal arts? She said, yeah. Went to liberal arts, couldn't pass my Spanish requirement. Mm-hmm. Education school, no Spanish. So I was just kind of scheming my way to get my degree. So I had an education degree.
That you never used?
Never used. Never had an intention to use.
The first company you started before Barstool, you started a company that matched student athletes with college recruiters. It was called Next Step Scouting.
Yep.
So you kind of—
I never started that. That was one of my ideas.
That was one of your ideas.
So and this is Internet 1.0.
Okay.
So you have athletes, not Division I. These guys aren't going pro. The concept was a D3 guy. Coach still wants to win. Help them recruit because they don't have the budgets and connect using the internet, lower level athletes with D3 schools, D2. That was the concept.
You spent $2,000 developing the software, but it didn't happen.
No, it was one of the ideas. At that point, I was working at a little software, and I paid a couple of the engineers on the side to build it.
Well, when you graduated college, you worked at an IT market research firm making $100K a year, and you weren't happy? Right out of college?
When I graduated college, the economy was booming. I was happy with that.
Okay.
I didn't like the job. So when I got that job, the economy booming, .com era, it flipped. Yeah. One day I went to work, half the people fired. I was like, oh, this is brutal. But no, I thought $100,000 was more money than God at that point. I was very happy with the salary.
So sales pitch. What was your pitch?
To who?
Because you're a good salesman. Because you convince, like when people come work at Barstool, you convince them that with us in your corner, you can.
I think they trust me. I think my sales pitch is trust. Even when I was selling that, you have salesmen who give you snake oil salesman vibes, and you're like, I don't trust what this guy is. I think most people, after they meet me, even if they don't like me, they're like, I think he's telling the truth.
Right.
To what? And that goes a long way with selling anything.
How long do you work at this company?
5-6 years.
So you had a nice little nest egg that you're like, I'm done with this and gonna do something else.
Yeah, I used that to start Barstool.
Okay.
That went into the cost of starting Barstool.
Target audience. So let me ask you a question. Like when you started Barstool, did you have an idea of the type of the audience that you were looking to get?
The early premise was sports media in Boston was so stuck up and actually rooted against the teams. Like they seem to revel in the failures of the hometown team.
Right.
Like we have a very famous Red Sox guy, Dan Shaughnessy. Mm-hmm. He rooted against the Red Sox. And the thought was, and it's a little bit about the Bill Simmons when he saw, I was like, there's a place for a fan's voice. And that's always sort of what we've been. We may not be right. We're not trying to, we're not in the locker room. We're speaking as fans. I think that was the early kind of concept.
What do you mean by the common man for the common man?
Exactly that. It's like these are actual fans talking to fans. These are normal people. It's how you talk at a bar to your buddy.
Barstool, no matter what, when you think of Barstool, I think of you. You always, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Alex Cooper is who she is. P. Mac is who he is. Bussin' with the Boys, those guys. You're you.
Right. That's good and bad. It's good and bad because...
Do sometimes they feel like you overshadow them?
Yeah, not only overshadow, I may speak for them. If I'm speaking my mind, that doesn't mean we're a super diverse, weirdo group of people. I think sometimes when you come into the office, you're like, holy shit, this is what's here. But if I'm saying something, when I interviewed Donald Trump, that doesn't mean
everybody in the company likes Donald
correct.
Trump, or you're speaking for them.
Yes, and that I wish wasn't the case.
Okay.
That is always the case. So that's just the nature of the beast.
You ran for mayor of Boston?
I did.
What the hell?
So we used to throw these little concerts.
Okay.
And I was very unhappy with the way the city was treating us. Like they unfairly, in my mind, and very anti-business, very anti-nightlife. So I was like, I'm gonna run and I thought I could win. Because at the time we were pretty big. I'm like, I'm gonna go register all these college kids.
Yeah.
They're gonna vote for me because you can legally do that. They rigged it, so I didn't get on the ballot. It was my first introduction to true rigging. Like you had to basically get, I think, 12,000 signatures to be on the ballot.
Right.
They had to be registered voters, and you had to be able to read the handwriting. I paid a legit signature company that did this they got 20,000 signatures. Guess how many they threw out? 9,000. 9,000. Can't read it, can't do it. There's no way they just kept me off the ballot. In hindsight, probably happy.
Right.
But it was
what type of mayor would you have been?
Pro day Portnoy. Like whatever was in the best interest of Barstool.
But you raised during the pandemic, you raised $41 million for small businesses. What made you do that?
So small business is definitely probably because of Barstool. Something I'm passionate about because I know what goes into it. So I actually, who was the guy? He did The Prophet. Kevin Lamanis. He's He's a big entrepreneur guy. So I was ranting and raving about the shutdowns, being like, you got to let businesses, if they want to stay open, it's up to them. People know the risk if someone wants it. So I was ranting. He tweeted at me, hey, Big Mouth, why don't you do something about it? It's like, all right, that's a fair point. So I put 500 grand into a fund, and I said, we're going to give this out to small businesses. Here's what I want to see from you. I want to see that you're running a profitable business before the COVID. Like the only reason it stopped is you had to shut your doors, but you have a proven track record, and I want to see you're still paying your employees. And if you can do that, we will pay your bills as best we can till you can open again.
Right.
And the first money we gave away, I FaceTimed the person, like we submitted, and I'm recording, and the reactions are like very emotional. They're like, you're saving our livelihood. People saw that. The money started flowing in so fast, we couldn't get, we were getting millions every day. And it probably saved about, I think, 500 small businesses. And it's definitely the most meaningful thing we've done. It was wide, and unlike the government, we'd get the money in, we talked to somebody, the money would be in their bank account in 24 hours. We get the bills. And in some of these small businesses, then they were giving the money back. They're like, we don't need it anymore. We want a refund, help. It's a lot. It was not on purpose. It was kind of like the spur of the moment thing, but it means a lot.
You ran for mayor. Would you run for president?
I know. I don't.
El Presidente.
Yeah, the hate that you get from politics.
Nothing. I think politics has surpassed religion, honestly.
It's nuts. It's like Gladiator 1. Gladiator 2 was the worst movie I've ever seen. But Gladiator 1, when they asked Maximus, they're like, you got to be the emperor of Rome. He's like, I don't want it. And the guy's like, that's why you have to do it. I don't know who would ever willingly do it.
Do you have, when you went into business, do you have any mentors?
Yeah, Mike Rapoli. is a guy. He started Vitamin Water,
Okay.
started Body Armor, sold them both for billions. I've leaned on him for quite a bit of advice.
Okay.
He's probably the most. He's probably the most that I've used, and he's been great.
Yeah. What's the best advice you received?
Everything's so different. I don't know if there's any piece of advice that's really.
One, it's
Yeah. I can't think of something. There is no magic trick. There is nothing, and what worked for me may not work for you, and it's different time, different place, different people.
you're a foodie. Give me your top 5 fast food restaurants.
Fast food?
Yes.
What level are we going fast? Is McDonald's and Five Guys the same thing?
I'll let you pick. I mean, we ain't got to do.
I mean, Wendy's for the burger category is definitely my favorite of the burgers.
Okay, Wendy burger.
I like Chick-fil-A a lot.
The sandwich, the waffle fries, the lemonade.
I'll go with the nuggets and the waffle fries.
Okay.
Top 5. I'm not a big fast food guy anymore because I get sick when I eat it. I'm too old.
You going out with the guy. If you and 5 of your friends are going out to eat, where y'all going?
Nice restaurant.
Nice, huh?
Yeah, like I'll hunt around here and be like, where's, yeah, I love eating.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how all these people, the older people do Ozempic. Like, it's like, what are you doing? Like, why do you care what you look like, you know? You can't eat? It's crazy.
You call yourself a pizza aficionado. What is it about pizza? Boston got good pizza? Maybe I'm.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well,
Because normally I hear about New York and Chicago.
I'm going to humbly say I'm the number 1 food critic in the world.
Okay.
For pizza. But I can influence pizza more than anybody can influence anything else. And it started as a bit with me and Dan from Pardon My Take. We said, if you could eat one food the rest of your life, what would it be? He said burritos. I said pizza. We did it for a month. Just ate it. People started asking, hey, is it any good? I'm eating the pizza. I just score it. And it caught on. So for 10 years straight, every Monday through Friday, I've tried a new place.
The pizza, does it have to be like a famous chain, or you go into some of these offbeat?
I've done them all.
Okay.
I like in New York, I just spot around the office. Here, like I've already done 5 pizza reviews. Everywhere I go, I'm finding the pizza and eating it. What's your favorite pizza?
You want to tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Pizza Hut.
You know what? Now that could be a race thing because Wallow and Gilly also had like a ridiculous. They're like Domino. It's like crazy. How could? Yeah, have you had good pizza?
I'm a thin crust guy. I don't want that. I want that stuffed crust. I just want thin pizza. And I grew up. That's what we had because pizza used to have what they call a buffet. And so for like $5.99, you could go eat on a Tuesday night. You could eat as much pizza as you wanted. And so they had, I'm simple, cheese, ground beef, and I'm good. That's really the only thing that I really want on my pizza. And so we would go and I eat like 13, 14 slices, and I was good. So that was really.
I like Papagino's and shit growing up. It just.
But we didn't have, I don't remember.
So you haven't had it. You haven't had good pizza. It'll blow your mind. You should have good pizza.
When I grew up, there was I don't remember Little Caesars and Domino's weren't local because
those are all trash. They're all chains. Like you got to go to a place where the owner is in there making it and they've had it for 40, 50 years.
But what do you get on your pizza?
If I'm off the clock, I'll do peppers and onions. Otherwise, just cheese.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, I feel like I'm in a crazy town. There's great, just like any food. There's great food, and like the best burger in the world can't be McDonald's.
When I go to McDonald's, I eat the nuggets.
But the best chicken in the world isn't at McDonald's.
Nah, you know what? You know who got some good fried chicken? Publix. I rock with Publix. They think that thing be fire.
I know people talk highly of the pub subs.
See?
That's crazy to me.
Now
they're not chefs in there making it. You have I don't know what to do with it. I mean, there's great. It's just somebody take this guy next time he's in New York to like John's Oblique or something.
Nah, I'm like if I go out to eat, I'm probably gonna go to a steak place.
Okay, so would you say a steak at what?
I like I go to Steak 48. I go to a Mastro's. I've been to Peter Luger's. I've been to Keen's.
So if they serve steak at McDonald's, would you say that compares to one of those places? No. It's the same thing with any food.
I take your word for it. Dave Portnoy. You got anything? You promoting anything? You got any new shows coming out? You selling any new T-shirts?
No, we're good. I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you being
How
on.
long did we go? I always judge that. I didn't know you were the
2 hours.
So is that short?
About average. You right
I'm gonna do the research.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
That's how I judge.
You know, I was interviewing you, potential workplace.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have a gambling
Can we get
deal.
top 5 Celtics? Can we get your top 5 Celtics?
Yeah. All right. So I gave some. It's definitely
You gave Russell and Bird were for sure.
Russell and Bird for.
No, he didn't say KG. He said
Pierce
No,
or
it's not.
Tatum.
It's not KG. He's maybe my favorite Celtic, but Kuzi,
Kuzi. Havlicek?
Pierce. Yeah, Pierce and Havlicek, and you know the two that have a chance are Brown and Tatum if they keep winning. What? How many championships do you have to get? I mean,
You're probably gonna have to get 3.
yeah. So I mean, I love Pierce. He has 1, and I love him. He has 1.
Yeah.
Different eras.
Because like Havlicek has 10, and I think he's like a 10-time All NBA.
Yeah. Right.
So it's gonna be very interesting. Appreciate you, my man.
You too. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having me.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.